I'm going to tear apart the dumbest lies that we've all been handed about getting older, and I'm going to do the birthday ritual that I have never let anyone watch. And yes, at some point, I am going to set some shit on fire. Every year, I write down what I'm keeping and what I'm leaving behind. And then I burn the leaving behind list because I'm me and I'm a little dramatic. Can we just talk about this for a second before I burn my fucking house down? And this one is the one that kept me small the longest. You'll love this. If you've ever had a birthday that made you feel like you didn't matter, or you're staring down a number that everybody treats like the beginning of the end, this one's for you. So today is my birthday. I know, I'm so excited. I am 49 years young today. It's true. So I went from a house with no running water to a life that my daughter will never have to claw her way out of, back when people swore that I was hopeless and would, quote, never amount to anything. So doing the impossible and rewriting the stories I got handed, that's kind of my thing. And today, for the first time, I'm doing it on camera. I'm going to tear apart the dumbest lies that we've all been handed about getting older, and I'm going to do the birthday ritual that I have never let anyone watch. And yes, at some point, I am going to set some shit on fire. Let's get into it. I'm Cynthia Garcia, your foul-mouthed fairy godmother. Now, as I said earlier, I grew up dirt poor in Appalachia, where I dumpster dived for makeup and got called ugly enough times that I finally started to believe it. Then I made some money and I spent it figuring out how to be hot as fuck at any age. This is I'd Like to Thank Myself, the show where I try every treatment, procedure, and product so you don't have to, and then I tell you what's worth it and what to leave where you found it. Now, quick disclaimer, if you're new around these parts, I cuss a lot. That's just how I talk. Now, if that's not for you, that's okay, but this is your stop. But if you stay, don't come at me in the comments because I just fucking warned you. And if you are staying, grab a drink because we've got some shit to celebrate today. I'm going to stop yabbering and then we are going to get into it. So for me, birthdays have always been, let's say, complicated. Complicated is a good word. Everybody else is out here posting the selfie, saying, grateful for another trip around the sun. And I love that for them. Truly, I do. I show up to my birthdays with a little more baggage and a lighter. Look, nobody's thrilled about getting older, but the worst birthdays of my life are the ones that made me who I am. So let me take you back to the very first one, because I think this is going to explain a lot. So I was 8 years old and I woke up excited the way a kid can only be excited on her birthday. And I remember I was in my bare little feet and I walked into the living room on that worn bare carpet. I could still feel it on my feet now if I close my eyes. And my mom was sitting there with her usual morning cup of coffee and her cigarette. And I waited for it. I waited for happy birthday or a present or a cake, something, but there was nothing. And so I thought, that's okay. They're just waiting to surprise me later, right? So I went outside and I did all the things that an 8-year-old girl does in the South. I played in the backyard. I imagined a different life, which is kind of what I always did. And then it started to get dark and still nothing. So I go back into my house. I don't see any decorations, no cake, no candles, no nothing. And my mom's still in the living room. And I didn't quite know how to ask. So I just blurted out, do I have a present? And she looked at me in kind of a weird way and said, why would you have a present? And I said, all flustered, well, because it's my birthday. And she looked at me with this little curl to her lip and she said, so? Just that. So. And right there, 8 years old, I did the math on my own worth and I came up short. And so I decided that I wasn't important, I wasn't special, and I didn't deserve anything. Now, that wasn't the first story that the world had ever handed me, but it was the first one I believed about my own worth. And I believed every fucking word of it for a really long time. And here's the thing about a story you learn at 8 years old. You build a whole entire life on top of it, and you still hear it whispering under the floorboards. Even after I had made it, even after I built my own companies, even when I was in rooms full of celebrities and who's who, part of me was always just waiting for somebody to come over and tap me on the shoulder and be like, ma'am, there's been a mistake. We're going to need you to leave. You don't belong here. See, I just knew the second that they found out my secret, I'd be laughed out of the room and never work in this town again, or something equally as dramatic and probably equally untrue. I had a whole exit plan ready for a room that nobody was even trying to push me out of. But that's what a story does. It doesn't care how far you've come or what you've done. It just keeps telling you the same shit over and over unless you rewrite it. So that was the first story, but it sure wasn't the last, because when I turned 40, the whole world tried to grab the pen. So, on the morning of my 40th birthday, I woke up just like I did back on my 8th birthday. Super excited, feeling incredible. 40, the big 40. I know. You'd think I'd learned my fucking lesson, but here we are. No. And the birthday text started rolling in. And I was like, oh, people celebrating me. It's my birthday. Except they weren't just saying happy birthday. They said things like, enjoy becoming invisible. It's all downhill from here. Real people, like people that I actually knew and who were supposed to be my friends. I mean, nothing says happy 40th like a group text placing bets on your decline, I guess. One of them even signed it with a little heart. Like that somehow fucking helped. I don't know. That's the day I decided that I was going to age exactly how I wanted, and anyone with a problem could go home and stay there. It's the day that I started building my skincare company, Rewritten. Now, I named it that on purpose because that's exactly what I intended to have happen. I wanted to help women rewrite the signs of aging on their face, sure, of course, but I also wanted to help them rewrite the stories they've been told about it. Now, I called our first serum Show the Face Up to rewrite those old narratives, that old narrative that we get invisible as we age. To me, that was the most important place, the most important story to start with. And by the way, since it's my birthday, I'm giving you a gift. There's a code in the description that you can use to purchase this serum if you would like. But that's honestly not what today is about. Today is about the story and the fact that we can rewrite it in any moment, whether it's officially our birthday or just the day that we decide to be born again. So on my 40th birthday, I wrote a new story. And the new story is that I get to be hot as fuck at 40, 45, and yes, even today at 49. I plan to be hotter at 50 and 60 and 90 and 110 if I stay here that long. And I want to tell you what I actually mean by that, because people hear me say hot as fuck and they're like, damn, okay, vain much? But what people don't understand is that it was never just about the outside appearance. Hot as fuck is a way of moving through your life like you're just getting started. It's self-respect you can see and self-worth you can own, regardless of what other people think. It's booking the trip. It's flirting with your husband like you just met him. It's your face glowing, your hormones balanced, your home making you feel alive. It's having standards that you don't compromise for anyone. It's refusing to settle. It's how you decide to show the face up. Being hot as fuck is saying, I'm still here. I still want things. I still give a shit what I look like. I still want sex. I still want beauty. I still want money. I still want that outfit. I still want to be seen. I still want another chapter. Women don't need to be empowered. We just need to remember who the fuck we are and what's still possible. And the day I stopped apologizing for any of this, everything changed. How I carried myself, how people treated me, all of it. Giving fewer fucks is one of the best products I own, and trust me, I have tried them all. Now, rewriting a story is easy to say. So let me tell you how you actually do it, and it starts with the worst advice I ever got. You see, years ago, my Aunt Carol made fun of me for practicing playing the flute. I know. I don't know what the fuck I was doing, but in the books that I would borrow from the library, rich people somehow always fucking played musical instruments. Now listen, I was trying everything and anything I could do to get out of this life I was living. There was no running water in my house. I got tired of taking a bath in the creek. So I was going to do whatever it took, and I was not above learning how to play a musical instrument, whatever it was. I didn't care. Now, if you're new here, by the way, Aunt Carol is every shitty aunt I've ever had rolled into one, because keeping them straight was a part-time job. So we're just calling everybody Aunt Carol. So Aunt Carol walks in where I'm practicing my little flute with a shitty look on her face that I was used to at that point. And she said to me, "Oh, you think you're just going to be a big shot. You think you're going to make loads of money one day and be rich." Now, I was like, is this a trick question? Bitch, yes. So I just said to her, well, yeah, because that was the goal, right? And that's when Aunt Carol looked at me and she smirked a little and she said, "Just keep telling yourself that." Okay, bitch. Here's the thing though. I took her literally, and I just kept telling myself that. I did, over and over and over, until the day it stopped being a wish and it turned into my actual life. And that's the whole process of rewriting the stories. So thank you, Aunt Carol, truly. And what I've learned in my now 49 years on this planet is that every story you've ever been told, even if you told it to yourself, it can be rewritten. You see, they are all lies, and we can let them go. And that's what I do every single birthday. And I want to show you how I do it. So every year I write down what I'm keeping and what I'm leaving behind. And then I burn the leaving behind list, because I'm me and I'm a little dramatic. So this year, the whole list is lies. And I want to invite you to do this with me. So whether it's your actual birthday, if it is, let me know, or if it's just the day you've decided to be reborn. So let's first start with what I'm keeping. I'm keeping the friends who show up without being asked, saying the honest thing out loud, no matter how many tail feathers it ruffles. And I'm keeping asking for exactly what I want instead of settling for mediocrity and silence. Those things all stay. So now the things that I'm leaving behind, and this is where the lighter comes into play. So lie number 1 is, as you get older, you should age gracefully. See, this story was written so that I would disappear with a smile when I did it, and I simply fucking refuse. I know. Hopefully I don't burn my house down. Lie number 2 is, aging is a privilege. No, aging is not a privilege. Getting older is the privilege. Another year I've got to be here. I will take that every fucking time. But aging, the skin, the sagging, the bagging, the everything aching, more work for less results, everything going south for the winter and then just never coming back. Aging fucking sucks. And anyone who wants to argue that with a straight face either doesn't know what words mean or they're a sadist. I honestly don't know which. I don't know what you are. It's fine. The story just lumps getting older and aging together and calls it wisdom and hopes you'll just go with it. And I say, fuck that. I am here for getting older, but aging, the process of aging being a privilege, it's just fucking not. All right, lie number 3, we go again. Oh my God, I hear this one all the time. All the time I hear this shit. The opposite of getting older is dying. Okay. Can we just talk about this for a second before I burn my fucking house down? Lie number 3 is dumb. So the opposite of getting older is dying. Bitch, no. The opposite of getting older is getting younger. What? We say the dumbest shit on repeat, and we never stop to think about what we're actually saying. Why? Well, because it's just another story that was been created to convince us that not being dead should be enough. Dying isn't the opposite of getting older. Dying is the opposite of continuing to live. And that I'm 100% not available for. All right, lie number 4. This is the one that my own family taught me. And it's this, that people like us don't get to want more than what we had when we started. This one I just can't get behind. This old story of This one's going to take a minute to burn. This old story of I'm not capable of rising to the motherfucking top because I was born at the motherfucking bottom. Now, I'll be honest here. There are times when things aren't going my way. Deals fall through, setbacks happen. And I want to go right back to this story because I want to believe it. Somehow, it's just like a self-fulfilling prophecy. After everything I've built, this motherfucker still knows my address. But the truth is, where I started has nothing to do with where I'm choosing to end up. Not a goddamn thing. And it doesn't have anything to do with where you end up either. All right, lie number 5. And this one is the one that kept me small the longest. You'll love this. That if other people don't approve of me, then I must be doing something wrong. Yeah. I'm going to burn the shit out of this one. So you wouldn't guess this by looking at me today. That one is now done. But I used to want everybody to like me. It's true. I know you're like, you? Yes, me. I wanted to please everyone. I cared way too much about what other people thought of me. And now I don't. There's a short list now. There's my husband, my daughter, my dearest friends, and what they think I care about deeply. But everybody else, I don't give a single fuck what you think about me. Not one single fuck. And I don't think you should give a fuck what I think about you either. I mean, can you imagine how much better all of our lives would be if we stopped handing complete strangers, family members, people on the internet, who the fuck ever, that much authority over us? Your demons have nothing to do with me, and there's no fucking way I'm going to let your unresolved issues control what kind of life I live. And you shouldn't let mine control yours either. So I write all these lies down, all the lies that I'm leaving behind. And as you can see, I set these motherfuckers on fire. And if you want to do this too, I dropped the exact process along with some examples into a free guide for you. And I left the link in the description. Now, I don't do this ritual alone anymore. Every year, my girls and I go through our list together inside the Vanity Club. It's the table that I never got a seat at when I was younger, so I built my own table and I saved you a seat. The link is in the description. All right, so listen, I know this video was a little bit different than my usual videos, but it's my birthday and apparently I needed to get some shit off my chest. I don't know. Here's what I do know. We get handed stories about who we're supposed to be and what we're supposed to want, what we're allowed to have, what getting older is supposed to look like. And somewhere along the way, we started reading those stories out loud in our own voice. We started believing them. But you can rewrite them starting today. Today can be your rebirth. The day that you decide who the fuck you are now, what you want now, what you're no longer willing to settle for, and exactly how you're going to live the rest of your life without giving a single tiny mouse fuck what anyone else thinks about it. Your age is a number. You decide what it means. So I've laid a lot of my shit out here today, but you've got your own. Every woman watching this has been through something that should have broken you. But here you are, still standing. So my question for you is, now that you've made it through 100% of your hardest times, every single one of them, what will you do next? Tell me in the comments. What are you keeping and what are you finally burning the fuck down? And on that note, a toast. So grab a drink. It's my birthday, y'all. Grab a drink. A toast for the little girl on the bare carpet who heard so and decided she didn't matter, and for finally telling her gently that she was wrong. For reading Enjoy Becoming Invisible and deciding to show the face up. For wanting more than they ever told me I was allowed to, and for taking Aunt Carol at her word. I kept telling myself that until it stopped being a wish and became my whole life. For every room I walked into, sure that I would be found out, and for finally letting myself feel like I finally belonged there. A toast to the 8-year-old who imagined a different life in the backyard till it got dark. Baby, we live that life now. And to my daughter, Rain, who will never have to rewrite the same stories I did. And to every woman watching who's staring down a number that everybody treats like the beginning of the end, it's not the end. It's the day you take back the pen. To 49 and every kind of dangerous I am about to become. Oh, it's going to get good. It's going to get good. To who we were, to who we are, and to the hottest fuck versions of ourselves we're becoming. For that and so much more, I'd like to thank myself. Cheers. Mm. 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 So good. So good. Happy birthday to me. Oh, this one came back alive. Sorry. It's fine.